elegant, but this is what I need. I just stuck it in my vise and used this long pole to bend this nearly useless pair of iWis because they had to spread so far apart to open. Now it's actually usable. That's what I need. I need a tool that can crimp with a compact area. So like if I'm in a small space like this drawer and I need to get in here and get to a pipe, I can get to it, and then when I squeeze the handles together, they got plenty of room to open back up because that's how these work. So I said, oh well, let me just bend these up to a close to 90 degree and see if I can get them to work. So I was able to do it without messing up the mechanism. Like I said, I just put them in the vise like so, with the handle straight up, and got a lot of leverage from my jack handle pole, and just bent them. So if you're running in a situation as an RV tech or plumber, this could be the solution for you, because I don't know why no one sells a tool like this that is the same tool but bent. And yeah, yep, that's what I need. So had to make it, had to modify an existing tool. I didn't really make it, I just modified this existing tool so that I can, and I'm about to go do some plumbing work now. So I am sure that this will be very useful, because I got 6 inches. All I need is 6 inches of space, and this thing will be able to get in, and I don't have to open it 10 inches wide after it's crimped to get this off. I can just squeeze the handles and it'll release. And that's about how wide it needs to be to come off of the crimped earring. So this is gonna work for me. Couldn't buy one, so I don't know why anybody's ever thought about it. I mean, somebody needs to make this as a real tool that's made like this, to where they can refine it and have it like, you know, nice looking and everything. But it's gonna work. I'll stick it back in the tool bag. This might be a much used tool now. There you have it. I just took an old cheap pair of iWis that I got off Amazon, put them in a vise, bent them to not a hard 90, but close enough to where I can work under a sink, under a tub, under a shower, tight confines, reach in there and be able to get something that's off to the side, crimp that connector, and release and get the tool back off. So yeah guys, that's what we got. RV Tech Pro out. All right, so here's a scenario, which is a common one, which is why I don't know why no major manufacturer has made a right angle version of these tools with these clinch rings. You're working on something, especially on an RV. I'm sure it can apply to other industries as well, but especially RV, there's a lot of tight spots. You gotta be inside of wet bays, compartments. There's an incredible amount of plumbing in these areas, and you have to repair something without disassembling the whole RV. All you need to do is to replace a fitting. Well, here's a wall, here's a wall, here's the plumbing. Your access is this little hole. You can't fit this in. It's too long for you. You don't have the room. You're definitely not getting this in between these two walls. You need something like this that you can have a right angle, cut that in half to where you can get inside the wall, put this on your fitting, and then crimp the ring down. So I'll just put one on here, and I'll just crimp it on the pipe without the fitting, because I waste my fitting. So see, there you go. You need to get that crimp, and you know, you have limited access. You can't come onto it straight on, because this is going to be in such a way to where, I mean, if you could turn it this way, yeah, that'd be great. You can just work with it out in the open. But we're simulating that we're inside a confined space, and this is the space that you have to work with. A common scenario, a toilet. The toilet is sitting right here. You can reach over and behind the toilet to get access, but you can't go on the fitting straight on because there is an obstruction right here. See, with a tool like this, you can go behind, you know, so you'd be going behind the toilet. But just for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to show you. You can get on the fitting, and you can crimp that fitting within the space that you have, that limited space that you have, because the overall width of this is half that, you know, because the handles are turned at a right angle, and you can crimp that fitting without having to remove the toilet or whatever appliance, plumbing that's there, because you have access, you just have limited access. So let's see if we can get you set up here, and I'll show you. So this is what I would do in a situation like that. Right now, in a situation like that, I'd have to move everything out of the way so I can take all the, find it down to another piece of plumbing that I could take out. It's a pain. I want to be able to come in that tight space and get my tool set up and just crimp it within the confines. You know, that's what I need to do. And if they would just make a tool like this, it's a right angle tool to where you can use the handles from down here, you know, to make your crimp, only having that much space. I mean, that's what we need. Let's take a look at the crimp. Nice crimp. So somebody needs to make something like this to where, you know, these are strong enough to where they don't flex. So it's going to be like a piece of round stock or something, and it's going to be strong enough to where when you're putting pressure here, it's not flexing. I could do it with these. I need to bend the handles out a little more because the way I bent them, they're a little close. I need to put it back in the vise and take this handle and bend it out this way more. And yeah, man, somebody needs to make this. Somebody needs to make this, and they will sell a lot of them because it's a much needed tool. You know, this is so much easier than moving stuff around. This is half the size of this, and this is the best crimper that I've found, and I've had this one for many years. But this, if this was at a right angle, this is pretty close to a right angle, it'll work. But you see the way they made the handles, it's a little, they're a little flimsy in this configuration, but it still has enough force to you have to choke up on it a little bit. But when it comes to a tech having to spend an extra hour to remove a bunch of stuff out of the way, or to be in here and be able to get to it like this, and they're not gonna care that they can't hold it at the very end. You know, you'll choke up on it and you'll get it, because these ratcheting types, every time you get a click, it holds. So you get to readjust your grip. So even if these handles were short like this, the tool will still be very usable. But I know you manufacturers and engineers out there, you can design this in such a way that it is strong enough and to where you can use the handles from the end, and you can reach way down and get stuff that's way down at the base of the floor when you're in a tight spot and you don't want to move a bunch of appliances and stuff out of the way. And we can just get down and get that. I know you guys can make it, you know. So if we can make space shuttles, we can make a better crimping tools, okay? So somebody needs to design that. Also, I don't know why. So when I'm in a tight spot, I have to like use these. I have to just use these little end nippers because I can't fit anything else in there. It takes hand power, but I'm able to do it. These come in much larger sizes. Why can't you guys make this at a right angle to where the handles are straight? This is this way. So when I squeeze on the handles here, it has the same pivot point so that I can use a standard pair of end nippers, which are used on these as well, to accomplish the same goal. This is very simple. This is like more advanced when you have the ratcheting one, you know, but the most basic tool, when I started off, we use a larger version of these to crimp these things, and they work, you know, they work. And this is what I have to use in extremely tight spots. If I can fit my hand in, I can get these guys in. It's just, let me get it positioned on here for you guys. But they will work. Get it positioned, because I'm using my left hand and I'm right-handed. You know, I'll have to, you know, but using my right hand, my dominant hand, I'll have to squeeze down on that really hard to get this to go. So using my dominant hand, and it's hard because these are so short, but it's extremely hard to do, and sometimes I have to reach in there and use two hands to get it, because it's just that you don't have any leverage. So I have to take, I broke them. That's how much force it takes. And the, the Pittsburghs, they couldn't handle it. It broke. It's such a small cross section of metal right there. I broke them. I was able to use them one time in a spot, but yeah, it's incredibly hard. But yeah, that's yeah, that's funny. But yeah, man, I need a right angle pair that I can use to do these crimps. So I need the engineers or whoever makes these tools, whoever has the capacity to make things, make this. You will make a whole lot of money. You will make millions and millions of dollars if you make this tool. This is the tool that you need to make. I can't make them. I don't have the money or the facilities to make them, but you can make them. And maybe you look out for RV Tech Pro for giving you a great idea. All right, they fit in the tool bag nicely. Ultimately, what made me come up with this is I had a job working on a food truck, and I was redoing the plumbing for a food truck, putting in hot water appliance, a water heater, so that they can pass DHEC inspection. And you have to have hot water. And you know, those things have all those fryers, and there's so much stuff packed in those little trailers that they use. They're basically enclosed trailers converted to be what they call here a food truck. And I mean, it's not a truck, it's a trailer. I don't know why they don't call them food trailers. I guess it sounds better to say food truck. And man, in order to get to the plumbing without taking all the plumbing out, you know, you needed something like this because you really can't flex this PEX that much, especially when you have a swivel fitting on it, because it'll leak, you know. So I really needed something like this, but I didn't have it, and the other tools that I had wouldn't work, and I ended up having to remove all of the plumbing in that area, so that I had to dry fit it, take it all out, dry fit it, take it all back out again, crimp it on the outside, and then put it back in. And it was tough because the way it has to fit, you know, the finished fit is with the fittings fastened to the, you know, screwed on to the 1/2 inch parts of like the sink and the water heater. So I had to bend it, to flex it to get it in, because I had to make it to where the finish, after it's all connected, it would be straight with no stress on any of the fittings. Otherwise, this PEX, you know, it leaks if it has stress, you know, like if bending on the fitting and stuff like that. You guys that do this, you know what I'm talking about. So especially those swivels, and you're connecting a swivel to a thread, and if it's flexed and it has pressure on it, that's going to cause a leak right at the cone washer. It's going to leak. So it would have been so much easier if I could have done the work while the plumbing was in place. You know, I would have saved at least an hour. So if I had this thing that I just modified, this tool, I would have been able to get it, because I was up in a small space like this, and I needed to put swivels on and do other little elbows and fittings in a very confined space. And I needed something that would fit, because my normal tool wouldn't fit. So that's why I came up with this. I ran into that situation a lot, and it's a pain in the butt. So like I said, hopefully somebody will make this thing, start mass producing them. I mean, I'm going to use this one. It works. I've tried it a few times, you know, doing crimps on connectors and stuff. It works great. So I'm going to use it. I took it back to the vise and rebent it to where the handles can hold up to the stress of clenching down this on a connector. So I got it bent just right so the handles are straight, spread apart, and this is the fully closed position. So when I squeeze it, the handles don't touch. So it took a lot of the weakness out. But I'm sure somebody can manufacture this, you know, engineer it much better than me just taking a straight tool and bending it to about, you know, 75, 80 degrees, you know. So hopefully somebody will come up with one. Yeah, but that's what I got, guys. I actually have to go do some plumbing, and it's going to involve a toilet, and I'm not going to want to remove the toilet to change the fittings. I'm going to want to do it while everything's in place, because it makes it quick. It takes an hour-long job and turns it into a 15-minute job. That makes me money. So that's why I made this tool.